Yep. Bangarang. All my Hook fans. Who watched the movie Hook when you were a kid? Bangarang.
Yeah, that was my favorite movie growing up.
Dude, what a good movie. So many good memories coming out of there. GM, everybody. Hope you're doing all right. Thank you so much for joining us. Doing something a little differently today. I didn't talk to you about this before, Mr. Dude. But typically what we've been doing is just, X has been the home for the morning show, and then we repost it to YouTube. But it shows that the live streams do better than the replays. So we're just going to live stream both shows. I'm live streaming both shows, morning and afternoon. So we are straight up live on both YouTube and Twitter today. And not only that, but we've also got a Twitter space going. So the conversation today is getting your family into crypto. We got to do some onboarding. We're running short on time. There's some new people getting in. You want to make sure that you know what you need to do. But then remember, we got to pass that information on, and you got to get your family in so that they do it right, so that they're not the exit liquidity, right? We got to get in sooner than later. So that's the point of today's conversation. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and smash the like. If you're watching on X, hit the heart. Go ahead and repost the video as well. Get some more folks in here, because it is freaking showtime. This ain't the Apollo, though. Whoa, that was the wrong side. That's the one. There we go. GM, everybody. How we feeling?
Feeling good.
There it is. Neil got his booby PFP. He's grilling and chilling.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
GM, yeah. Neil, that looks awesome.
I gotta say, I feel like the AI is getting smarter. That's closer to the original than anything's ever been. And maybe my wording has gotten better with old Dolly. I got to find a different name for my Chat GPT image maker. I don't like Dolly. Dolly. Got to find a better name for her, or him, or it, whatever. Or
yeah, you should literally. Is it like I guess it's Dolly. It's not like an AI where you can ask it for a name. You should just ask it. Be like, "What's your name?"
Let's do that right now. I'm gonna do that live. And I will do this in. So I have my, obviously, if you guys use ChatGPT, we've got the different thread names and all that stuff. I use various, and I know that it remembers everything now if you pay for the premium or whatever. But I still keep my threads very specific, right? Like, so I've got the breakfast show, I've got the J Chain's crypto show, we've got social media stuff. I think keep things very separate. And so the Web3 Breakfast has the boobies. So hey, really quick, I never asked your name. What do you want to be called?
Yeah, while you get that answer, I just asked Grok, if you could be named anything else, what would you choose? He said, if I could be named anything else, I'd choose Quantum Quipster. It's got a nice ring to it, don't you think? Plus, it sounds like I should be wearing a cape and fighting crime in a futuristic city.
That
so
sounds fun.
To see what he says.
All right, Grok. Okay, so just said you could call me Dolly. DALL.E. That's not fun. What's your nickname? Try that, right?
Post in the comments below. What do you think it should be called?
Yes, great one.
Yeah, I mean, I think if my chat GPT bot's not going to name itself. Oh,
Like also like how did we not see that coming? Like, hey,
Oh.
you idiot, my name's Dolly.
here we go. You can call me D. D. Okay,
There
cool.
we go.
There we go.
Well, we might get confused when D's on our stage though too. We have to give her the heads up.
Ooh, D Yakubovich. Where is she? What's she been up to?
I don't know. I haven't seen her host in space. I've seen her make a few posts on the timeline, but nothing crazy.
Shout out to D. D, come back. Come hang out with us. All right.
So the real question is, do we get ahead of this Quantum Quipster and launch Quantum Quipster before I fucking post this and it goes viral?
Yeah. Let's launch it on Osmosis. Sponsored by Carrie. Does Osmosis have like shitcoins?
I have no idea. That's a great quick. Carrie, give us a thumbs up or something, or coming up and let us know. We miss you.
Neil says 100, so probably. I would think that at this point, every chain, it's do or die time. If you don't have meme coins and shit coins, you have nothing. You have no future. And that's a little extreme. That's a little rough to say. But
I agree. I don't know that for 100% really, but I'm pretty sure every chain's got shit coins at this point.
yeah, right. You kind of have to. You had to build more of it out of your ecosystem to allow for broader participation, more growth, and that ultimately, I think is at the end of the day is very important. You know, I like to make fun of Bitcoin for doing that, right? Where they split it up into now you got the BRC20s and ordinals and all that shit. Like, you know, they made something more than just the 21 million Bitcoin, right? They made a whole ecosystem out of it, and Bitcoin was never intended for anything like that. So I don't agree with that ecosystem, but that's just my opinion, right? But I love the idea that all the chains developed that, whether it was out of necessity or just straight up development. It was always in the cards. I don't know. But the whole idea is now you've got all these companies popping up, all these different great minds and projects, whether they're NFTs or whatever, that have these great ideas come up that funnel more, you know, attention or more people into that blockchain, that ecosystem, right? And so I think at the end of the day, this is really good because more options appeal to more people. And while we don't want to completely dilute the whole thing, right? Like the whole conversation about 1 million shitcoins on Solana in 1 month is like, that's a little extreme, right? But knowing that some of these projects are well intended and have long-term roadmaps and bright futures ahead of them and will gather bright minds and people and build economies and ecosystems and software or products or whatever, you know, services that people will use. I think that that's where the opportunity lies within blockchain, is where we can really like onboard people and bring our family, to bring this full circle, right? Like it's a huge opportunity, one for us as investors, two as, you know, participants in building the plane as we're flying it, but three, like now we can really, as we understand more, you know, now you could say to your Uncle Jimmy at the dinner table at the holiday, like, hey, did you know, like, I know that you're into XYZ. Well, did you know that, you know, this is so applicable into the blockchain ecosystem? And then Uncle Timmy or Uncle Jimmy, whatever his name was like, yeah, you know, like, well, that's really cool. I'm going to learn more about that, right? Like, so we can start to, I don't know, what's the word? Is it inoculate? Is that the right word that I want to use there? We can start to, just say we can start to have
on board.
Yeah, but on board is like, it's not like training videos at McDonald's, right? Like, you know, these aren't, you know, like that's the hardest thing with me. And I use the word on board. You know, I use the word on board because most people do, and they understand that, like when we talk about it. But to me, it's such like a negative thing again. And we used to talk about this way back. Was like, yeah, it's like if I'm onboarding, like what am I watching training videos for my new job? Like it's just weird. You know, it was always my intention was, you know, we need to invite people into Web3. We need to invite people into crypto, right? And then they choose to accept that invitation or not. But I think at this point, time is of the essence, right? Like if you really cared about somebody and you really wanted them to have a better future and to have that same financial freedom that you're chasing and you're here, you have to like up the urgency of the message and be like, yo, motherfucker, this is the time. I know that you think crypto's a scam. I know that you think people get, wamboozled. I know that you think yada, 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 yada. But here's the deal. This is a fucking bull run and your life will change. So you have to listen to me. This is different. This year is the exception to the rule, right? Like that, those are the messages that we have to like start to say to the people that we love and say, listen, you want to fucking change your life. You got to fucking pay attention now. Right now is the time. I hope that's not too strong of a message.
No, that makes total sense. Inoculate, you don't want to, definitely not a good word to use, especially since post-COVID. That's like you get inoculated with the flu to be able to fight it off. Let's see, integrate, incorporate, enroll, climatize.
I say I'm trying to say transition. It's more like a transition because what we're really doing is going from the paper system to the digital system. I think that's the thing I've used the best to like help my family transition. To be like, hey, like show them the RWA plays and stuff like that, and make them understand how like things are going to be tokenized and how like it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be on the blockchain. And this is how this works, vice versa. It's a transition, and that's the best. I mean, I've onboarded like my dad and my uncle, and that's how I've gotten them. Is I've been like, yo, check out Algorand, check out Exodus, how they've just tokenized their stock. Like, do you see this? Do you see this? This is the future. This is the transition of money.
Right.
And
it's a great way to put it,
worked on everyone.
Because like I guess back in the day when you're in like the stock exchange, you like literally like traded paper, right? And they would yell at each other to get orders in, and then we transitioned from that to like the way we digitally do stocks even now. And now we're just going to head into transitioning, great word again, into like crypto being that form.
Right. And you got to think like if you would I think survey most people don't carry cash on them anymore, right? And so it's kind of like that same way that you can illustrate like, hey, you remember like 10 years ago, probably 100% of us had cash on us, but now maybe 5% of us do, kind of thing. Like it's you have to start thinking along that lines. Like, we're progressing on. It's time to move on. Like the world is going digital, and so is all of our money, and so is a lot of the assets that follow it. And so like, I mean, you got to think like
everyone's watched that silly Bitcoin cartoon, correct? Like, if you haven't seen that, that's actually one of the best videos to send your family. It's like a stupid ass like cartoon where Satoshi has his face covered and he's talking to these kids and he's talking about how we used to use seashells as a currency and then we use paper as currency. And it's kind of like the transition over time of money and how every 100 years it switches. And basically Bitcoin is going to be the next transition because it makes the most sense, If you guys have never looked that up, I will look it up and make sure we can all share it. But it's actually like, it's like you can show a child, it's meant for children and be like, oh, wow, okay.
It was probably, hey, I'm just going to say right now, if they say Bitcoin is going to be the money of the future, that was probably a Maxi who said that, because it's not going to be Bitcoin. It is going to be.
But I guess like it's easiest for explaining,
it was made before a bunch of these had came out too. So I think like there's only so much you can work with.
Yeah.
So
no,
it's probably an easy way to explain. Because if like we all like know that Bitcoin is compared to gold, and if we really transition like totally away from the dollar, it would probably go to like gold again first, which would be Bitcoin, and then like spread to like whatever, because they're all just different countries' currencies.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it's really interesting to think. I mean, no, it's all speculation until we actually know, right? Like it's totally speculation of what's going to be the chosen one. I mean, we know as far as what we are concerned, people who participate, people who are here, active investors, people who build, develop, all that kind of stuff. Yes, like Bitcoin is the number one. It's the closest thing that we've got to a true decentralized, monetary system. The closest thing we've got.
Could be Bitcoin and Gotti, right?
Hey, that's what I'm thinking. That's gonna be my Bitcoin of choice. I own more Gotti than I own Bitcoin. With that,
Same, but I don't have fucking.
as far as tokens go,
Yeah.
that's all right though.
Well, even for me, even value wise, it'd be the same.
Doom, what's up, brother?
Not much, guys. Good morning. How y'all doing?
GM.
Yes, hey, yeah, I was gonna kind of piggyback off of Jacob. You know, like with me, with like the guys at work and stuff, like trying to get like new people into crypto. Like the biggest thing I go with is like the basics, like that ETF in January. You know what I mean? Like especially for people that are like, oh, it's a scam, dude. You got BlackRock and all these asset managers, dude, that are now investing in crypto. I mean, dude, it's here to stay. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I explain it. Ondu, all right, like. I had a buddy here at my work because some of the military guys like that I work with, they're really into it, and then other like the typical like at the top of the market, oh hey, let me buy some Bitcoin, whatever. I have a guy that I work with, and I was like explaining things to him. I was like, dude, you should check out Ondu. Like BlackRock has a lot of involvement in that, you know what I mean, and just explaining the same shit. Dude bought some, and then he made some money, and he's like all happy about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the best way, for people that oh, it's a scam. No, it's not a scam anymore. Yeah, they're scam tokens, but you know what I mean, like crypto's here to stay. That's how it is.
Yeah,
you're totally right. Like when the presidential candidates of the biggest country in the world are talking about it, it's not going anywhere, regardless of like who wins and what they try to implement. Like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and when also we'll give Jacob some more flowers talking about the RWA stuff. I mean, we know that with Larry Fink talking about it, and with Ondo and BlackRock doesn't lose, and I think that's why I think the confidence that a lot of us have in say that particular project, but also when you just take a broader look at the RWA ecosystem and understand that it's set to be a $16 trillion ecosystem in the next 6 years, like that's not very long, guys. Like 6 years goes by like that. And so, if you are long-term investment minded, like now's the time to, really to put some things into play that, over the course of, this year, obviously with the bull run, but then even as we go through the bear market, who knows if that ecosystem, the RWA, because does the, I don't know. Does real world assets, do they go through 4-year cycles? Do they go through bear market cycles every 4 years?
Probably not. They might have little dips. So like that's actually perfect you brought this up, because I know Jacob was on our show yesterday too, like listening. We had Shrapnel on, so they partnered up with Epic Games. Sick game, right? So they're literally, the way he explained it is the way all of us talk about it, where mass adoption will happen when people don't even know. So the way they like frame and pitch their whole game is, let's just say you get Emmy into video games 2 years from now. You haven't really taught her anything about crypto per se, and she's playing the game. She doesn't know that when she trades her guns, she trades normies of the world will just be using it exactly like a Fortnite skin. They buy it, they can trade it in. They don't need to know anything about crypto, and they don't even know that they're using it. I just thought it was so genius that obviously that there are bigger people than us that have like, yes, we just need everyone using it without even knowing they're using it.
Absolutely. 100%. That is always the thing. So, making the technology easier to use, not so complicated. That's why, that there's a great argument. Nathan, I'll get to you in 1 second. There's a great argument, obviously for, some of the onboarding and some of the centralized entities. And, as people who are crypto natives, or let's call ourselves, I don't want to use the word experts, because that's obsessed. Yeah, we're like participants, like we're already here. Like, the whole idea of your seed phrase and the true holding on to your own assets, that kind of thing. Like we get that, but most people, as they come into this, that's not going to work for them. Like it's not easy until you actually learn how to make a transaction and actually understand what it's like to hold on to a seed phrase and protect all your assets, like the centralized entities are going to win. So just understand that. Let's facilitate adoption in that regard. And then the whole idea is to teach people what's beyond that, right? Like, hey, cool, you caught the bug. Now come deeper, come through the rabbit hole, right? That's going to be like our job. It's like really to bring people into the centralized way, because that's just how it has to be. That's the way it's going to be. And then if they want to explain further or explore further, that's going to be the second part of our task. That's later. That's after the bear market or after the bull market. Right now, we just got to get people in, and we got to teach them not to be the exit liquidity.
Totally. And some of it's like, make yourselves a bunch of money so you can help those people without like your stress anymore.
100%. 100%. That is my goal. Nathan, what's up, dog?
Hey guys, how's everyone?
Good. I apologize that we had
Good,
dinner
good.
and I forgot to call you back.
Oh, don't worry. I think I fell asleep about half an hour later anyway. So if you had I would have been apologising to you for not answering the call when you called back. But yeah, no, just touching on a couple of the things that you would, I mean, there's quite a few things I could say that you were just talking about in regards to the onboarding. I think a lot of us forget that I don't think we're ready for mass adoption, that the whole Web3 space, it's complicated to some of us that are in the space when new tech comes out, let alone to someone that has absolutely no knowledge of it. And whenever I found myself kind of speaking to people and going, well, could you explain this a bit to me? It's kind of about breaking this down to simple terms that they understand, to number one, get them to understand what digital currency is, what Web3 is about, because a lot of people just think it's fake money. And in all fairness, several years ago, I was one of those people. I was owning and running estate agencies, and I had people around me going, you've got to get into Bitcoin. You've got, and I wished I'd listened, but I'm going, oh, I'm not putting money into that. It doesn't exist. It's not real. But I was having a chat with someone a little while ago, and I actually explained it. I hadn't thought of how I was going to explain it, but it made complete sense to them. And I've used it since. And I said, well, look, if you go back just 30, 40 years, go back to the 80s, people were still being paid cash in a little brown envelope. I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to remember that, but you every week you get your wages in a little brown envelope. Now, if you said to your grandparents, one day your money will just appear in your bank account and you'll have a card that plastic card that you just tap on things, they would have went, oh, what a load of crap. That's never going to happen. You're living in a dream world. So kind of Web3, cryptocurrency, digital currency is an evolution from paying cash. We're now at a situation where there's now places that will not accept cash, that just won't take it and say, no, we're contactless only. There will be a time over the next 10, 15 years when your traditional currencies will just start to disappear and be replaced completely with digital currency. And I found that when you explain it that way and people look at it as an evolution of, well, yeah, it was pay, it was cash, got that in an envelope, then that stopped, then the money appeared in my bank and I just drew it out of my bank, then that stopped, then I just had a card and I just tapped a card. Well, what's the next evolution when that stops? It's and I find when you break it down like that, it becomes a lot more understandable. Now, actually, well, when you say it like that, it makes sense. People say, well, crypto, it doesn't exist. You go, well, does the wages you get every month exist? You don't see them. You don't see the cash. It just appears as a number on a screen in your bank.
You're right. It's just as like fake internet money as what people say about crypto.
What? 100%.
Yeah, completely.
That's funny. The argument against crypto is the same argument that we could use against fiat. It is ironic. I see we got a hand momming with Lynn, GM fam. How are you?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say that, it took me months to get actually into crypto, into the Web3 community, and I'm a community manager now. So if I can do it, my husband was trying actually probably about 2 years. He was trying for about 2 years to get me into crypto. And I finally got into crypto. I fell in love, you guys. So I love it. And just, it's going to take time. It's going to take time to get all these, people into it.
Momming with
just wanted
Lynn.
to bring up, I don't know if anyone.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry.
Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question? So I think
Sure.
there's probably a lot of guys in this room in a similar situation as your husband, right? Who had tried for years to get you to either participate, understand, want to like, whatever it may be, right? And whether it was disinterest, who cares what the reason was? What was your reason for saying, I'm going to give this a try? Like, what got you in? Was it an NFT? Was it a coin? What brought you into the space that changed your whole mind and perception of why you wanted to be here?
So you're probably gonna laugh, but I got a Saga phone.
That's the Solana phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I'm not gonna laugh. I think that's fantastic. I think I'm in the same situation. Like I've been in crypto since 2017. My wife knows what it is, but if I died, like somebody would have to walk her through what to do.
Yeah. So I mean, look, it was a shiny gadget that got me in. But and believe me, the phone is not as great as I wish it was a lot better than what it was. But it's primarily what I use for my crypto because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And it was just an easy thing to get into NFTs, and the community is kind of what like kept me there. A lot of these communities are really, really great. They're very warm and encouraging. And I don't know, it's just been so much fun.
Hey, you found something that resonated with you, and look what it was. It was a normal device, right? It was just something, just something.
And
normal.
also, don't forget, like her other point was community, right? Like that's the biggest thing, right? Is if people's first experience is a shit community, then like I'm sure like then you get scammed or something. Use toxic environment, then you leave and you like think negatively of the space.
Yep. Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to say one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just also wanted to bring up, I don't know if you guys have actually heard of it, but Boomer on Base. It's all about onboarding boomers, so the boomer generation, safely into crypto. So if you guys haven't brought that up yet, definitely check it out.
No,
I think I saw that the other day. Can you you can if you go to one of your posts about it, you can share it to the JTron.
The JTron.
I don't know how to do that.
So you know how you like share a post regular?
I'll figure.
So you literally just that's okay. Well, we also just can teach.
I'm gonna follow you back as well.
So instead of like share with the arrow, you go to like share normally, and then it will say share to space. Like here, I'll share this. Foley's in the crowd. I'll share his post on our post this morning. His beautiful MetaVixen. They're also everyone should go check out MetaVixen. You guys know how much I love them.
Yes. I think
if you don't love MetaVixens, you don't love art.
There was something I was going to say.
It's not showing me the option to share the space. I don't see that.
It'll be like share with onboard family to crypto. It'll have the name of the space in it that you could share it to. It'll be it should be the top choice, the number one thing that you can do when you get that. Click that button. What was I going to just ask you? I lost.
I'm gonna use my snap. That was my bad. I interrupted you like a
no.
co-host.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't you worry. No. So what were we talking about? We were talking about how it was just something normal that brought you in, and I think that is, when we think about all the different verticals of our ecosystem, right? Like, how can we best represent normal people? And that's why, I love in the gaming world, the ones that are working on mobile games. What are the most successful games in like the history of games right now, right? And they're all like mobile based right now. You have to think everybody's got access to a phone. Not everybody's got access to a computer, so that, you're missing a huge audience. So, like focusing on the ways that you can bring just normal people in so that they can understand it and participate. Collectibles. I think at some point we can nail that We can change the naming of it so that they could understand it and participate in it and get it. Art, same kind of thing. I think it's just breaking through the whole idea of just making it so complicated. That makes sense to anybody.
No, that definitely makes sense. And then I guess projects like what Nathan and Crypto Mag are doing are educating and also trying to promote good projects and proper projects in the way that the space is. So it's also directing people to the right avenues, right? Come to the breakfast show, people will teach you. They're nice and they'll accept you, go check out Crypto Mag. They're informative and they'll try and keep you away from the scams and educate you as well, just constantly making people sick of hearing education to the point where they just start doing it.
People hate educating themselves. Most people do. Anyway, Nathan, what's up?
Yeah, I was just gonna. I wanted to ask you guys a question actually, because I mentioned it a second ago a little bit. But do you guys think that we're actually ready for mass adoption? Yeah, I mean, I personally don't. I just think to get into crypto initially is so complicated, and something that Mr. Dude just said is one of the reasons why we have the magazine. It's so that we can explain this is what a blockchain is. This is what it does. This is what a wallet is, different types of wallets. This is the functionality, and it's to try and educate, so to make it a little bit more understanding or understandable. But I personally think, and I know I did just ask you a question and carry on talking, but I'm a nightmare when I get going anyway. As obviously as you know, my trade is I'm a business consultant, and whenever you're consulting and you're trying to identify problems or issues within any business or industry, you've got to start at the very, very bottom, as in what is the first thing, what is the first problem, the first thing that's stopping people either use your business or come into that industry or doing anything. Well, looking at this, the hardest or the biggest problem I see it is it's too complicated. It's too, even setting up a wallet with your seed phrases, and then if you change your phones, you then have to import all of your tokens across. You've got to know what's in each wallet, what tokens you have, import them all across, and add the blockchains, especially if you're talking like MetaMask and things like that. But I personally think it's at the moment, until people can come up with more simpler solutions, which is something that we're really working hard on, and which is like the backbone of our business ecosystem, is making it simple. And when it becomes simple, it then just becomes a matter of people just need to understand it if they can use it. But at the moment, I just think even if people do understand it, it's still then a whole nother level of education that you need to talk people through as to how to actually get into it, first of all. I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you think we're ready for mass adoption at the moment?
No, not even close. I know that all of our bags are ready for it. I know that we all want to be, giga rich chads with multi-million dollars and Lambos and yachts and 10 girlfriends. I know that's what everybody wants, but in no way, shape, or form are we absolutely ready for it. I mean, the scams are too rampant. There are way too many rug pulls. There are way too many, I think, bad actors in this space that would really, without, and I don't want to say regulation is what we need to clean it up. I feel like we could be a little bit better at self-policing. I don't know. I do feel like the space we need to clean the space a little bit from the inside before it's really ready for more people to come in. Now, that's not even talking about the tech. That's, I mean, how many people are actually using blockchain technology on a daily basis? You know what I mean? That's the number. We need to get people actually using the, whether it's software, whether it's whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, totally agree.
I completely agree as well. I mean, do you have any different views, Mr. Dude?
No, I was gonna say, like going back to like what you said earlier, Nathan, was the paper money, and you put money into a bag, and someone would walk down the street with it. We're still like at that point almost with crypto, where it's such early days, where it's like, oh, you walk down the street, everyone knows, like in the crypto world, everyone knows you're carrying that money. So now there's just some thug looking to steal your money from you, right, and hold you up. And like we're still at the point of, like Jay just brought it up, is like trying to police ourselves, where then you get these, we'll just go like the Peaky Blinders scenario, or like those mobster stories where it's like, oh, they're trying to do things for the people. They're bad people, and they're trying to police the other shittier people. And then there's still that. And then you still need people who, like if we look at the government in all of these scenarios, they're always like trying to get their hands in the pie, where we still need the good people from there, like the John Deatons of the world, who actually understand the technology and who want to rise up within their own political ranks, like regardless of party, and actually make the changes to keep everybody else safe. We're still like in those like early, it feels like mobster days, where everyone is trying to shake each other out, and then there's only going to be a few at the top.
By
like
order of the Web3 fucking blinders.
There we go. We should make a Web3 booby bird with that paper hat, the paperboy hat there.
Oh, that's what we are, the booby blinders.
The booby blinders.
I think a lot of the solutions often are staring us in the face. I mean, I've consulted for some of the largest brands on the planet globally, and a lot of the time, the solutions that I give them, they go, well, why did I not even think of that? Like, it's been there all the time. Why didn't I see it? And I really think one of the best ways of onboarding is to do it, because blockchain doesn't need to be so complicated. But blockchain is a tech. It can operate behind a Web3 wall, a Web2 wall. So I think a lot of brands and projects in the Web3 space get so techie and so bogged down with telling everyone about, and they make it very Web3. But if you can build things that are Web2 and familiar to the general population, but the tech behind it is Web3, that's a really seamless way of transitioning people into Web3. So something that's built on the blockchain but has a Web2 feel. I mean, you know this, Jay Chains, but we've been building Cryptozen, and we've been building that. I think it's going to be huge for onboarding, because all people need to do is a Web2 platform, effectively just built on blockchain. So all people really need to do is to change their shopping habits from Amazon to Cryptozen, and as they shop, they start to earn cryptocurrency of their choice. It doesn't cost them anything. So then they go, oh, Christ, you can even then use that cryptocurrency to buy other products, or if you're in crypto, send it to your wallet. So people then go, well, actually, I'm now holding a Web3 asset that cost me nothing. I've paid the same amount for this product, but I'm now generating. I mean, if you get that, let's say that single mum that buys a product, gets it delivered to her door, but uses Cryptozen, and let's say she spends, I don't know, $100, and she earns $10 worth of whatever cryptocurrency she chooses on the platform. She doesn't have to have a wallet for that. She doesn't have to set up any account, so other than setting up your account like you would an Amazon account. But if she just strikes it lucky, and that one project does a 1000x, her $100 buy, she's now got $1,000. If she's spending $100 a month, at the end of the year, she potentially got $12,000. But it's done in a seamless way. Do you know what I mean? It's as far as they're concerned, they're just changing their shopping habits. They don't have to understand Web3 until they're ready to. But when she's now looking at these, sorry, go on.
I was going to say that's the recipe for success right there. Is when you maybe are you using the tech, using whatever, you don't realize it, and then again, it's much like, you want to just start transacting in crypto, right? So you use Coinbase, you use whatever, whatever service, crypto.com, whatever it may be that gets you in, that you can start participating. But then it's that same thing, like, all right, Now you want to start using your MetaMask and you want to get onto, you know, the DeFi sites. Like it's all just part of that whole evolution. It's you change, again, change a shopping habit, and that can change your life. And those are the things that you can you could teach that to your mother. You could teach that to your grandma. You could teach that. I mean, for a while there was, I used to use Lolly, like Try Lolly it was. And, you know, you could just go online and you would go online and buy dog food and pet shit, you know, on Chewy, and you'd earn a little Bitcoin. I know Alta was one of those things. You're like, there are sites where you could go and you can do the same shit you normally do. You buy the same things you normally do, and you can earn some rewards in crypto. And then, like Nathan was saying, like I mean, you're building a site like that. There's sites like, there's things like that where teach that to your mom, teach that to your wife, your girlfriend, your aunt, your uncle, whatever.
Well, there's nothing to lose. There's literally nothing to lose by using platforms like that. And if you don't need a tech knowledge to do it, I mean, before we put all of this together, we looked at what the average Amazon spend is per year. And I think it was $2,310 as a global figure. Country to country, that changes. That's taking the global population that deals with online shopping. But now if you take something like Cryptozen, that's giving 10% of everything you spend back in a cryptocurrency of your choice, not only are you putting more money into Web3, because what we're doing is just taking a percentage of the profit earned on that product, buying crypto with it and giving it back to people. But if you take that average spend, so someone could generate just $231 every year just by changing a shopping habit. If that single mum, for argument's sake, or that person that shops online because it's cheaper than shopping on the high street, actually chooses a product or a project that does 1000x, now by changing their shopping habit, they can buy a house. They've got $230,000 that they can go and buy a house, and it's cost them nothing. And I mean, I'm just using that as an example of how giving that Web 2 element to onboard. Now all of these people have seen what they can generate and go, maybe I want to look a little bit more into this. That's when you start changing lives. It's when you start actually having them telling their friends, you need to use this platform. I've just bought a house just by changing the way that I shop.
And that's actually an amazing point. And because you said single moms, I was thinking like same with like, so I know Jordan Charters, right? So I work with him. People like in his situation who have like crippling disabilities, where it's like they have to shop online anyways, or people like in wheelchairs and it's hard to get places, so they do all their shopping online anyways. So now even if they earn minimal amounts of crypto, even if it just covers basically like, let's just say the cost of groceries for their year, so they don't even need to become millionaires, but it's just going to give them back money that they've spent. If a lot of people break even, that's not a bad year for them.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, with a platform like that, you've got to do a 10x, and your products cost you nothing. And there's more and more money going into Web3, real volume, not market making volume. This is real volume. And effectively, with what we're doing with it, all we're doing is taking the profit. We will earn between a 10 and 30% profit on every product that we have. All we're doing is taking that profit, and instead of putting it in our pockets, putting it into Web3, buying a token. Our system buys the token on the project's chart that they've chosen, and then drops it into their account. It just, to me, it just makes sense. So I suppose the point I was really trying to get to is, I think if you will onboard so many more people if you can give them something they're familiar with, which is that Web 2 aspect, and just have the Web3 in the background, and then gently pull them in bit by bit and go, by the way, are you aware this is operating on the blockchain? No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Then they start wanting to look into it. They understand it a bit more.
Like someone, and I'll harp on the musicians again today, because I feel like they need to learn this lesson and they need to understand that. But somebody needs to create the platform for the Web3 musicians, right? And that's where all the rev share goes through and all that stuff. Instead of these $30 songs individually, that's not how it works, right? Like, again, you've got to get, if you want to appeal to the masses, like you want to appeal to the argument where someone says, for $10 a month, I got access to Apple Music. music where I've got a gazillion songs, right? Someone needs to create this platform that allows the Web3 musicians to flourish there, still earn their money based on plays like it should be in Web3, but you still have access, to everything, so that you're not, again, you shelling out 30 whatever dollars per song every time they want to drop a track, and you want to feel like you want to support the artist. But that's a broken model, in my opinion. Shout out to the artists. I love you guys, but we got to figure it out. You need a platform.
It is a completely different. And again, that's what we've put together with Liquid. And I think we've got 2,000 musicians waiting to launch on it. And the only difference is the musicians earn more, and the investors, the people that they're fans, they become the record label. They get what the record label would have got just by buying their tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely agree with you. I think that, our next development element that we're going through now is a complete streaming platform. But again, that's ready to drop in the next week or two.
Well, you're gonna have to tell us more. When the time is right, you're gonna have to come back and tell us more, because that's the kind of stuff that interests me, right? Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, how do we? Because that appeals to more people, like a streaming service where you can listen to the Web3 artists. Like we know, our friends at Meta Rides, like one of the things that they were doing was, the artists, like when you're driving around in their game, you can listen to the Web3 music, and then you could go right there and buy it through whether it's XYZ or OpenSea or wherever they've got their tracks listed, right? So I think, finding ways for people to really get that exposure. And then again, it's all about the initial exposure. Welcome to the world of what this is. If you want to take the next step, you can go ahead and do that. But it can't just be like, this is how we do it. Like Web3 needs to be crypto, NFTs, blockchain, whatever, however you classify it, needs to be more flexible in order for people to adopt the technology.
That's such a great idea too, like the just being able to listen. Like imagine like a partnership with like a Brave browser who's like constantly giving out like their basic attention token just for like literally being on there, and just get a Brave wallet. If like you could just integrate like a platform with them where it's like, oh, as you peruse the internet on the Brave browser, here's some Web3 music from this newest guy dropped his track.
Bro, y'all are literally talking about the same trap that the music industry is in now. They put all their stuff on Spotify to put it on a centralized place where they can sell it for and get subscriptions $9.99. Now they get pennies. That's the same trap.
Yeah,
but they do got one. They do got little platforms called Parrot Radio or whatever. I don't know much about it or anything like that. I've used it maybe a couple of times, but I don't know much about it.
Parrot Radio,
something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. It starts with a P.
Okay.
Yo, Jay, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, long time. It's been a long time. I was gonna say, I've always said this too. I've said this on the stage, I believe too. I mean, you're not gonna get the South Georgia blue collar worker to download MetaMask as much as you want. He's just not gonna do it.
You're not
so
you
gotta make a very friendly app. And if you want them to utilize blockchain or something, it'll definitely be in the back end. So I just wanted to add that. I totally agree with what we've just set up here.
Now what do you think? Yeah, Frank, go ahead.
I just want to add that a lot of it is due to design, right? It's not meant to have a bunch of people in here right now. There's levels to it. It gets easier over time for a reason, to allow more people to come in and to keep it token gated. So there's levels to that. Also, you're not going to get a lot of people in here until it becomes consumer based. When it becomes consumer based, when the NFT projects really have their art out there with their IP rights and their merchandise, and you got these games coming out, and you got all this stuff that's real consumer based, then they'll start coming. But they're not coming in here just to trade tokens and trade NFTs. If that was the case, they'd be in the stock market right now doing it.
That's a really good point.
No, I've said that before too. I mean, like I've talked about how, mass adoption doesn't really come until like the banks really get involved. And like, before you know it, everyone's dollars are now tokens. Like everyone's dollars are stable coins and everyone's bank accounts are wallets. And they don't even know it happened. It'll happen like behind the scenes. And like, you'll get an email from Bank of America and they'll tell you like low key, hey, listen, everything's on blockchain rails now. Like everything just moves faster. Your money moves better. Have fun. And like, that'll be it. That'll be the day that it like really kicks off.
How many years?
They'll hit you with some bullshit.
Give me an over under on how many years that is.
Honestly, like if regulations really come through within this decade, I could see it happening like within this decade or 15 years, maybe even less.
Okay.
Maybe even less, to be honest with you, for real. That's how I feel. Maybe even less.
Yeah, I mean, it saves them a ton of money. That's the thing, is like when you're saving millions and billions of dollars, like with transaction fees and settlement fees and whatnot, like that's what the banks are really looking at, and that's what BlackRock's looking at. Like, you know, Larry thinks like, oh my god, I can save millions of dollars like with my collateral settlement loans. Oh my goodness, let's use this thing. And
when
you know, they created that Biddle fund, and I didn't think that was going to happen as soon as it did. I thought they were going to wait to do that, and then like they went ahead and just did it, and I was like, oh my god, like they're already tokenizing debt on chain directly. This is insane.
Yeah, with like 500 million in 4 months, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's the largest treasury, tokenized treasury now in the tokenized treasury market.
Boom.
Hey, when you get an email from your bank talking about we've upgraded our systems, you know what happened.
Yeah, that's true. Take that, Benji Fund. That's the Franklin Templeton one, right? Benji.
Someone will read the Apple terms and conditions one day, and it'll just be in there. Like all of us will just click accept, and we won't even know we're fucking using crypto on our Apple anymore.
No, exactly, Mr. Dude. And like the thing is, like the way you trade this too, like the way you trade this theory is like trying to figure out which blockchain is going to be like the most popular for what thing. So it's like, okay, like, you know, is this going to be primarily on Ethereum? Is it going to be on Ethereum L2s? Is it going to be on Solana, like Avalanche? Because obviously they're all going to be used to some degree. It's just figuring out which one has the most traffic, because that traffic equals token usage, and token usage equals price appreciation.
You smart. You smart.
Straight facts.
Did anybody have their hand up a second ago?
I think it was Doom.
Yes. Okay, I knew I saw one. What you got, Doom? I want to make sure we get all the hands, and then we got to get back to it.
Hey, I got a quick question if nobody's got their hand up. So kind of what sparked this thought was that, you know, my dad's like, hey, I want to get into this, but I don't want to keep anything on my phone or anything on my computer. You know, I personally don't like cold wallets. I mean, then you're screwed. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about it. But what are y'all's thoughts on like hot wallets and cold wallets?
You kind of cut out a lot for me, but I think I cut the idea was like what's the thought of like hot or cold wallets? The best thing you could is he still talking?
Cold storage. No, can you hear me now?
Bad for me too, Jay. So it's not you. No,
Okay.
you're breaking up pretty awful.
Yeah, but I got the idea of what you're asking, and like so for me, for example, right? Like I use several cold storage wallets. I have several Arculus wallets. I use several Ballet wallets. Some of them have touched contracts, so I don't really use them much anymore. Just store some dust or shit on them, right? So I have cold storage wallets that I use. I don't actively do any crypto on my cell phone, right? I have an old phone that doesn't have cell service, that only connects to Wi-Fi, that handles predominantly, 99.8% or whatever the would be of all of my crypto transactions, right? That's what I would recommend, is you get yourself a second phone to do all your crypto stuff that doesn't have cell reception, that you only connect to the Wi-Fi for. Never connected to public Wi-Fi. Always use a VPN, that kind of stuff. Not to hide shit, but just for privacy.
I would add as well that like in the future, it's not going to be a matter of like choice between hot or cold wallet. It's going to be a choice between custodial or non-custodial, because like obviously when it comes to cold wallets, there's a lot of responsibility, like inherent responsibility in owning one of those. And the one thing that I've never seen increase throughout my life is the want for more responsibility from people. And so you have people going like, man, I don't want to have all the responsibility of like holding my seed phrase and like knowing my seed phrase. And so I'm just going to trust all my assets with Coinbase, or I'm going to trust it with Bank of America or Wells Fargo or something. And that's just going to happen. Again, like you're going to have the same issue with the banks happen, but with crypto, but obviously with a degree of more transparency. So in the future, it'll be much more easier. It'll be much more like of a normal thing to just like have crypto in your bank account. But I feel like the cold wallet optionality is still your best bet, just like Jay's saying. It is the most secure, but it does entail the most amount of responsibility.
Boom. Love that. Matthew, I'm going
Plus,
to
you're right. Banks will have. Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Banks will have insurance too, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yes,
that's the thing. They'll be insured, but more than
FDIC
likely they'll be
insured.
insured.
But what is that? What does that
No, not
actually mean?
FDIC insured. No. So
It's all
so
fugazi.
Yeah, who are you going to call?
No, it's not all fugazi. So right now, I'm working with Digital Wealth Partners as their chief investment officer, to be announced. But one of the things that we offer is institutional grade custody for high net worth individuals and other accounts, basically, and it's insured up to $100 million by Lloyd's of London. So we want to make it easy for people to have access to their tokens. It's like 3-factor authentication, like requires 3 signatories, at least 2 of the 3 to do it. So like if somebody got hit by a bus, we'd still be able to provide access to your beneficiaries and things like that. And I hear what you're saying, Jay, like what happens if you lose your ledger and your wife doesn't know how to use it? So there's a whole host of people who have a problem of, I found out about crypto, fell on my face and made a shit ton of money, and I don't know how to store it. I don't want to deal with it. I just talked to the guy who's a private airline pilot who's got 4 ledgers, each with like $200,000-$300,000 on them, and he lost one of them behind a bookcase when they were moving, couldn't find it. And like, this isn't the way that we want to live. Like, definitely agree with what Will is saying, that like nobody wants this extra pressure or this extra liability. So there's going to be ways that are now coming to fruition where like, yeah, they'll be insured, it'll be custody. Like the fact that people will have custody of your tokens will not be a problem moving forward, basically.
Do you think that when the banks start to participate in that, and instead of holding your fiat, they're holding your Bitcoin, Ethereum, so whatever, that they are then pulling the same shit that FTX was, and they're trading with your funds in the background, showing you what your balance is?
Absolutely not, because the banks are required to have.
Are you winking or are you error quoting when you say that, or no?
No, absolutely not, because banks are required by the government to have liquidity standards up to like 80% of the cash that's held in deposits. FTX did not have any of those requirements. So banks are actually, not to say your friend, but like they are held to a much higher and stricter standard of custody and non-segregating or non-commingling of funds is what they call it. So that every dollar in your wallet is a dollar in the actual bank account. I would be concerned, for example, on things like Tether, where you're not really sure if it's backed 1-to-1. Like if they start backing your tokens or they start backing your investments with paper, that's always a little bit scary. But there's not a problem with this. Like we want our lives to be easier, and managing a lot of money, which we all hope to get or have right now, is not something we really want to do on our own from a responsibility perspective.
And so they're not playing League of Legends behind our back, is what you're saying?
No, they're playing Fortnite.
Why can't it be like Mortal Kombat or NBA Jam or something?
Could you imagine being smart enough? Because like you can read the blockchain and you're like, fucking like, what's my bank up to? And you go into the bank's blockchain transaction, you're like, yo, that's my fucking wallet hooked up to fucking World of Warcraft. See, they're buying like skins.
It would be kind of cool to see like
sword.
where your funds go. Like if you have deposits and they're like, oh, I see that I went into this debt tranche, or I went and funded this investment. Like the capital's still there, but it would be interesting to see. One quick note, Jay, from a sort of a transaction perspective, Bank of America just partnered with XRP and Ripple, and they're projected to save over $100 million in transaction fees a year using a settlement token like XRP and XDC and Flare.
Hey, that's exciting. I should we'll talk about that this afternoon. Bank of America, BOA. That's my bank, baby.
Too bad you don't got that bag of XRP anymore.
I know. I'll have to get one. Well, so here's the deal.
Good morning, Jay.
Here's the deal. GM fam, how are you?
Hey, real quick, on that onboarding, one thing I did, and I've been in the space since about 2016, is a few years ago, I built like on my notepad, like a list of, because people would ask me all the time, just like vetted out like books, maybe the Bitcoin Standard or vetted followers on YouTube and things like that. And I just kind of put them in a notepad. So when people ask me, hey, it's like a little learning, like, hey, go look at this stuff. And then when you get through that, if you got questions, come and ask me. And that seemed to make the process easier for me, helping people. And then I just helped a buddy of mine. He had about $1 million in a 401k. He had 2 401ks from companies in the late 90s and that we had worked at. We rolled one into a brokerage link for the Fidelity ETF. And then we rolled the other one into I Trust Capital, which obviously, I didn't realize this. You can roll the whole thing in there, like so over 100,000 into iTrust. He'll have to pay the taxes next year, but buying at this rate right now, you know, it is a way better long term at 51 years old, because at 59 and a half, that's 100% tax free when you pull it out.
Nice.
And now he's asking all the right questions, and now he's, you know, getting a CRO account and this and that. But going in slow and putting him somewhere safe and telling him the dollar cost average in. But those are just a couple suggestions I have. If people have money, like he had $1 million sitting there, and it's like the old Tony Robbins used to say, get it out of your 401k. They're not there to make you money. They won't make you money. So you can make your own money, you know, just ideas that he already had the capital. He just didn't know how to access it and get it going.
Smart. I love that. And I saw the hundreds from Matthew. Matthew, I think that is Matthew approved, huh?
Yeah, no, definitely. Capital is where we send folks, where we're working to get onboarding right now, but we've got about 80 or 90 folks who are looking to place money with Digital Wealth Partners and our custodians as well, Archax and Anchorage. And part of exactly what he's saying is true. A lot of these people have a bunch of crypto, and it's either it can be rolled from your RIA, whether it's pre-tax or post-tax. It can be rolled into another sort of ecosystem without gaining a taxable transaction. And then part of the sell as well is that you can hold them in an account, and we can put them in an interest-bearing or yield-bearing account, lend out that money or stake it, whatever the case is, and produce income without having to actually transact or change any of the capital gains from an investment you made. So keeping people who've made money in this space afloat and free of tax burdens and providing liquidity is the number one mission, like, on my mind. Like, assets are going to do what they do, but if I can pare this down and get you 9, 10, 12% per year better than your bank, we're going to have a fantastic time. And your underlying asset doesn't have to change or get taxed.
Boom. All right, let's talk soon, Matt. We got to bring it. We got to bring it.
I think I'm going to have to change my pants.
Yeah, it's time. All right. Well, that was awesome. I cannot actually believe that it's after 10 o'clock. That today flew by. Y'all are amazing. What a great conversation. We all understand what our mission at hand is. It's time to bring our families in, bring your friends in, get the aunties and the uncles, get them all. Let them know that this is the time. This is the time to make it happen. Man, time flew today. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to everybody who participated in the conversation. And if you just sat and listened, shout out to you. You're amazing. Make sure that you smash the like on YouTube. Make sure you hit the heart on X, and we'll see you. Anything? What's going on today? Anything? Anybody got any shows? Anything happening? I don't even know what today is. It's Wednesday, right? Hump day? Is it? Yeah, Wednesday the 10th.
Powell Day 2. I think Powell talks again today.
Okay. What's he saying?
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh my god.
That was good.
He just says we're fucked.
Oh, that's good. That'll be a clipped moment. Absolutely. All right. Well, on that note, I love all y'all. Have a wonderful day. Do something to make yourself better today than you were yesterday. You guys know the rule. Do it. Just do it. Just make it happen. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, actually, no, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for breakfast, but I'll see you this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern. Adios, amigos.